Hello, and welcome back. We often look to the past to find stories of extinction, but today we confront a tragedy that concluded just a few years ago. It is the story of a man whose lonely life was a testament to survival, and whose quiet death was declared the final act of a genocide. He was known only as the Man of the Hole, the last known member of the Tanaru people. For at least 26 years, he survived utterly alone in the Amazonian state of Rondônia, Brazil, fiercely defending an island of forest against a hostile world. But his story isn't just about a lonely vigil. It's about a profound mystery. Why did he dig hundreds of deep, narrow holes throughout his territory? On August 23, 2022, his journey ended. An agent from Brazil's National Indigenous People Foundation, FUNAI, found his body inside one of his small straw huts. There was no sign of violence. He had died of natural causes, likely around age 60. Yet the scene was not one of simple despair. His body, lying in his hammock, was deliberately adorned with the bright, iridescent feathers of a macaw. It was a final, solitary ceremony. This act suggested he knew his end was near, and met it with dignity, according to the traditions of a people whose last voice was his own. With his passing, an entire language, an entire culture, and a unique lineage were believed to be extinguished forever. But as we will explore, the end of his life marked a dramatic new beginning for his land, setting a powerful precedent. Genocide cannot be rewarded with title to the victim's land. This is the story of the Man of the Hole, the ultimate price of progress, and the fight to make his homeland a permanent memorial. The name given to him by outsiders, Indio do Buraco, or the Man of the Hole, came from his most distinctive and mysterious practice. Throughout his 8,000-hectare territory, he dug incredible holes. These holes appeared to serve two distinct, though related, purposes. First, the hunting pits. Scattered across the forest, these were practical pitfall traps, often found lined with sharp, fire-hardened stakes designed to catch large prey like peccaries. This was an efficient method for a lone hunter. The second type created the true enigma. A single, narrow, rectangular hole was dug inside each of the more than 50 straw huts he built. These holes measured over 1.8 meters deep, nearly 6 feet. Observers noted they were never used for sleeping, waste, or storage. When he moved on, he would carefully cover the hole with sticks and logs, treating it with unusual reverence. Initial theories speculated they held spiritual or ceremonial significance, or perhaps they were simply hiding spots to escape attack. But a crucial piece of evidence emerged post-2022. Research by the Indigenous Missionary Council, CIMI, discovered the testimony of a woman named Mercedes from the Guaratira people, historically linked to the same Tanaru region. She recounted that her people's long history of fleeing violent attacks, they would dig deep holes in order to protect themselves from attackers. This transforms the mysterious behavior. The holes inside his homes were likely a form of defensive architecture, a learned survival strategy passed down through generations. They were a physical manifestation of the constant ambient terror of a nighttime raid, a scar of generational trauma carved into the earth.
The Man of the Hole's isolation was not a spiritual choice. It was the direct consequence of a brutal, decades-long process of extermination. The stage for this violence was set between 1964 and 1985 during Brazil's military dictatorship, which pursued aggressive colonization of the Amazon. The government promoted the idea that these lands were empty, giving loggers, miners, and cattle ranchers a license to seize land by any means. The atrocities committed against indigenous peoples were systematic and barbaric, including mass murder and the deliberate introduction of diseases. The goal was to clean the land of its original inhabitants. The Tanaru people were victims of this state-sanctioned, privately executed genocide. The attacks came in waves. In the 1970s, the first wave of violence by settlers killed the majority of his people. In the 1980s, ranchers allegedly feigned friendship by leaving gifts of sugar laced with rat poison, killing all but a few, including the man who would become the sole survivor. In 1995, the final massacre occurred. The last remaining group of his tribe, believed to be 6 individuals, were ambushed and killed by illegal miners. When Funai investigated the 1995 crime scene, they found that the tribe's dwellings had been bulldozed by tractors in a desperate attempt to destroy all evidence of their existence. His small protected territory became the last piece of untampered evidence of his people's history and the crimes committed against them. Despite the trauma that defined his life, the man of the whole demonstrated remarkable self-sufficiency and profound resistance. He was far from a simple forager. He was a skilled cultivator, maintaining small, well-tended gardens where he grew maize, cassava, papaya, and bananas. This planned, settled existence, even as he moved constantly, showcased a deep, generational knowledge of horticulture. Researchers called his managed landscape a cultural forest, an effective and sustainable indigenous technology. His survival was rooted in isolation, but that isolation required active, aggressive defense. After Funai confirmed his existence in 1996, every attempt at contact was met with clear rejection. His hostility was rational, stemming from the trauma of seeing his world destroyed by outsiders. In the mid-1990s, he fired an arrow at filmmaker Vincent Corelli during an encounter, narrowly missing him. This tense standoff footage became vital evidence used to prove his existence and secure legal protection for his land. He later wounded a Funai official in 2005. When monitoring teams left strategically placed gifts, tools, seeds, food, he consistently refused them, leaving them untouched. His constant movement across his territory, evidenced by the over 50 huts he built and abandoned, was a crucial survival strategy against loggers and ranchers encroaching on his land. The threat was constant. In 2009, the man of the whole survived a direct attack by armed gunmen. He survived for 26 years alone because Funai implemented a groundbreaking 1987 non-contact policy. This policy, which recognized the right of uncontacted peoples to remain isolated, led to the demarcation of his 8,000-hectare territory in 2007, granting it constitutional protection. Every day he survived was a political victory, demonstrating that uncontacted peoples could prosper when their lands were actively protected.
The discovery of the man of the whole's body in August 2022 marked the end of his resistance, but not the end of his fight. He had prepared for his death, ensuring he passed from the world according to his own cultural traditions, a powerful act of self-determination. However, The aftermath was riddled with conflict. His body was initially removed from his land for an autopsy, an intrusive process that sparked outrage from activists who demanded he be returned home. After a court order, he was finally buried in his homeland in November 2022. Tragically, shortly after his traditional burial, his grave was desecrated by local farmers, underscoring the relentless hostility that defined his existence even after death. With him gone, the immediate legal protection for the land, based on his presence, vanished. Ranchers immediately argued that the territory was now devoid of indigenous population and should be opened for cattle ranching. Federal prosecutors and indigenous rights groups fought back, arguing that the land's protected status was based on the Tanaru people's occupation since time immemorial, not on the survival of a single person. This legal battle culminated in a historic Supreme Court ruling. The court ordered the creation of the permanent Tanaru National Park. This decision was monumental, establishing a new legal precedent. The land was consecrated as a memorial and an instrument of reparation for the historical violence committed against the Tanaru people. The creation of the Tanaru National Park ensures that the forest is permanently protected from the economic forces that drove the people's extermination. But just as the land was declared a memorial, a stunning revelation emerged, challenging the narrative of absolute extinction. The CIME investigation brought forth the story of Mercedes, who lived among the Sakurabiat people. Mercedes insisted she belonged to the Guaratira people, a subgroup historically from the Tanaru territory. Crucially, she recounted that her people dug holes in their homes for protection, a direct link to the man of the holes defining practice. Though Mercedes died in 2015, her daughter, Rosalina, continues the fight for recognition, stating, "No, we are still here, protecting the stories of our mother." This evidence reframes the story. The man of the hole may not have been the last of his people in a biological sense, but rather the last who remained uncontacted on their ancestral land. His life was a testament to his people's will to survive on their land. The Guaratira's existence suggests their will to endure through forced migration and diaspora. His lonely 26-year vigil was the tragic centerpiece of his people's story. He was a global symbol of both the profound cruelty inflicted upon indigenous peoples and their capacity for resistance. Today, the Tanaru National Park stands, not only as a preserve of incredible biodiversity, but as a permanent living memorial. It is a powerful message written into the very laws of the land, that the victims of genocide will be remembered, and their history will be protected forever.